Hello and welcome to Women Veterans Alliance. This is our Wednesday webinar. I'm Melissa Washington. I'm a Navy veteran and I'm the CEO and founder of Women Veterans Alliance, where our mission is to connect women veterans with each other and resources. And one of those ways we connect women veterans is through our Wednesday webinar series. If you haven't seen, we have a logo design competition happening right now. If you are creative or you know someone, they don't have to be a women veteran, if they're just in creating a logo, for what's coming up is Women Armed Forces Service Integration Act was signed on June 12th, 1948. Also, you may hear June 12th referred to as Women Veterans Day, Women's Veterans Recognition Day. So we are having a logo design competition, and the person that wins, we will put the logos on shirts and coffee mugs and everything else. So again, if something you're interested in or know someone that's creative, please enter. Also feel free to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with our website, we have an online store. We also offer business and career coaching. We also have resources. We also have a listing of all the women veteran memorials and monuments that are in the air throughout the U.S. Excuse me. And also too, there's opportunity to become a member of Women Veterans Alliance. We have different levels of membership with that. And let's see. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff planned. Just quick note, if you are going to be in San Antonio this weekend for VWise, I will be there. Definitely feel free to connect with me if you're there. VWise is the program through IVMF, and I will be there. As you can see, we've got a great lineup of webinars coming the rest of here in April, as well as May. Also too, you can find these webinars if you go to our website and just you can look on for the webinars. But as you see, we've got a bunch of different topics that are happening starting again next week and just continuing to go. If you haven't heard, next Saturday is our Women Veterans Engage conference. There is still time to register. You can join us online, or we have different locations throughout the US where you can join us in person. Our topic and our theme is the resilient you. It's time to recharge, and I know we can all use some recharging. And these four amazing women that are going to be talking and sharing and helping us with bouncing back and that whole balance of life, and just an opportunity to definitely recharge. So please, if you're interested, you can scan the QR code, or you can go to womenveteransengage.com, where you can find out more information on the online as well as the in-person locations. And also too, as I mentioned before, June 12th is Women Veterans Recognition Day. Here where I'm at in the greater Sacramento area, we do have two events. We have which will be our 5th annual Red, White, and Blue Fun Run. We're also adding a parade on to that as well. And then we have an event celebrating military women. It's outdoor dining experience there. And if you haven't been, or you've heard and you want to go, definitely you want to come to Las Vegas, September 8th through the 10th. It's our 7th Women Veterans Unconference. It's an amazing 3-day weekend of engaging and laughing and crying and being pampered, and we're going to be celebrating you. So definitely come to Las Vegas, September 8th through the 10th, womenveteransunconference.com. Earlier this year, we launched veteran.events, where we have a listing of speakers. So if you are a speaker and you're interested in having a listing in our directory, or if you're looking for a speaker, the directory is open to women or men that are veterans that are speakers. So if you're looking for a speaker for an event, please feel free to visit our directory, as well as we have a calendar of different events throughout the US. And we have a page just specifically for women veteran conferences there as well. And I want everyone to stay to the end of the presentation, because someone here will receive a gift card. So, but you got to stay to the end of the presentation, because if you leave and your name is called, you won't get it. So you got to be here. All right. So without further ado, Miss Christina Krag is a United States Air Force retiree, U.S. Air Force Academy graduate, host of over 90 episodes of the OvercomersQuest podcast, and an artist. She loves to help courageous creatives and empaths find their inner strength, overcome loneliness, build support networks, and honor their own voice. During her 13 years living overseas with deployments, including Special Forces and NATO, Chris studied how different kinds of people adapt to change and thrive. She experienced a spiritual awakening that led her to move away from her abusive, narcissistic husband, embark on a series of world travels, immersing her in painting and music, and started creating her life of independence, happiness, and healthy relationships, leading others to experience the same. Chris holds a BA, MA, and MSM degrees, a graduate coaching certificate, is certified as an NLP master practitioner and project management professional, and is soon to be International Coach Federation certified. Her deep sense of spiritual awareness paired with her gifts at organizing the chaos in other people's heads allows her to map out highly effective new habits and life plans with her clients. So without further ado, Chris, it is all yours.
All right. Well, Melissa, thank you so very much. What an amazing introduction. And it's phenomenal to be here. You do so many important things. Thank you for allowing me to join and partner with you. And I'm really excited to be able to be here. Sweet. So everybody, today's topic is conquering loneliness. And let's see here. Do we have my screen back up? Do I need to share again?
Yep, just click on the green button.
Got it. We practiced. I love it. There we go. So today's topic is overcoming loneliness. I appreciate you guys joining today. I want to give you some practical tips and just to make it a little bit stronger so that when we all encounter this challenge of loneliness, we're better off. And so without further ado, we can go to the next slide here. There we go. So here's a story. Melissa asked me to share. Last week, I was doing some volunteer mentoring at a program called The Battle Within. There's the logo there. And it's a week-long program that's absolutely free in Kansas City. I'm not promoting it, but hey, it's another resource. You can see the logo. It's a dark wolf and a white wolf. And they say, the grandfather Cherokee says to his grandson, there's a dark wolf and a lighter wolf, which is our dark side and our brighter side. And he says, which one wins? It's the one that you feed. So during that week, we saw 6 women come in our cohort. We had veterans, we had cops, we had people working in the prisons, and they were stressed, hypervigilant, and somewhat isolated. So they left more confident, calm, and connected. And so that's my hope today, is to just share a few tools with you so that you can leave more confident, calm, and connected. Every morning they did yoga. They learned about their own personalities. They talked to some therapists, and they did some amazing things. And we each do little bits at a time, and we can get stronger. So that's just one story, and we're all on this path to get better. So who do we have on the line? If we could just, I'd like to know kind of who we're chatting with today. Just like your name and maybe are you a vet, where you're at? That's all real quick, if I could.
I guess I can go first. My name is Virginia Brown. I served in the military for about 9.5 years. I was assigned to NATO Geilenkirchen Air Base in Germany. That's where I met my husband. And I would say currently I'm kind of in between jobs. And so these online seminars or webinars have really been helpful, connecting to everyone and not getting so isolated. Thank you.
You're welcome. Isolation. Absolutely. Thanks for being here today.
You have to call on people.
Okay. How about Jennifer? How you doing? Yeah, no problem.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what are we doing?
Just let me know your name and your background. Where are you from, maybe?
Okay, Jennifer Brown. I am in Seattle, Washington, where I've lived for 20 years. I'm a Navy veteran. I was a diesel engine mechanic in the Navy, served during the Persian Gulf era. I think that's me.
That's cool. Thank you very much. Cool. Thank you. Teresa.
Hi, Teresa Figueroa. Army veteran, 4 years, working with Department of Veteran Services, Women's Veterans Program Manager. And part of the governor's suicide prevention as well.
Well, that's definitely close to my heart. Thank you for all you do with that.
Absolutely.
Great. Where are you at?
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, cool. I was at Holloman for a while.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Let's see, Millie, how about you?
Hi, I'm a Marine Corps vet, served 6 years active and 2 years in reserves. I currently work for what's called the Dwyer. I'm sorry, the background is my husband's at work, working home. I work for Orange County Vet to Vet, which is a peer mentoring program. We do everything from crisis intervention. I would work with women veterans, all ages, both male and female, but I do the MST support group for our Dwyer program for the Hudson Valley.
Very important work. Thank you very much for that, Millie. That's cool. And let's see, we've got a person on the phone there. You want to join in? Okay, I appreciate that. Today's going to be very basic of concepts just to really encourage. So I know that you guys who are running these other programs, we honor your expertise and your professionalism, and you know, we're here to encourage everybody. So feel free to join in as we go. Thank you guys for sharing. We'll go back here to the slides, and here we are sharing. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. The other thing was, you know, does anybody want to say how loneliness has affected your life or any of your motivations? I know suicide, that was one, and MST. Does anybody want to join in and talk about loneliness and some challenges? We make sure we cover that today.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
so the irony is that I'm actually at the VA hospital right now because I just wrapped up an appointment, one of my therapy appointments.
Sure.
Psychology. And so that's what my background is, but I'm in a pretty secure place. But I will definitely say that even before COVID, I think a lot of people want to use COVID, and there is some legitimacy in that, but I think long before that, there has been a challenge with veterans, and particularly women, trying to find their tribe, and this overwhelming sense of loneliness and just not being able to find people to connect with, even if it's a small group. And I think that has really affected, I find that the people I talk to in various groups I'm in, whether they're online or in person, and it's affected me personally too, my MST experience has just created, I think, a sense of, you know, just putting up walls and borders and difficulty trusting people and letting people in, and that all of those things, when you isolate yourself, you consciously or subconsciously create the loneliness in your life and that feeling that you have, even though what I hear from so many people is they want to be connected. And so I want to better understand where the disconnect is between people's desire to be connected, yet they end up feeling lonely because they can't get connected.
Very, very powerful. Two thoughts. One is today we're going to talk about some practical things, because when I went through, when my life turned upside down in 2017, they talked about it in the bio. I didn't feel like there was a roadmap out there. And so what I did is I said, well, what did I do? What worked? And I found myself spending a couple of years capturing those things. Because one thing, you know, I was talking about the battle within just a minute ago. And at the end, when we graduate, they walk through this labyrinth and then they walk out. You might see it in commercials between some regional football games. Periodically, some people see that. But they say at the end of graduating from this, we've taken away the excuse no one understands, and that you have a tribe. So for me, having a group like this and having other people that we connect with is so important, so that we are understood, because it seems to be even more isolating as women, because we've got kind of the women in a man's world and all these other things that happen. And, I was an officer that made that even worse. And it's just, how do you find your person, your place where you just want to be a person, right? Outstanding. Okay, well, I appreciate you guys sharing. We'll get started here. Just wanted to, so that it wasn't all one way, as an introduction to conquering loneliness. Life is constantly changing and demanding that we adapt. We just went through a major pandemic. Veterans are usually topping out on the list of major challenges in life, like moving and divorce and kids and all these other things. I mean, do you guys agree that we're constantly adapting in our lives? Yeah, I see that. Thank you, ma'am. And so my hypothesis today is that without the right coping skills, no one understands. And like we said, you might feel isolated, and it's our stories that we're here to address. So the next thing is, why does it matter? Well, there's health risks associated with loneliness. When I looked this up, as I talk to people, they said, I think it's like the big killer, the big problem. And then I went to artandhealing.org, and they were talking about that the loneliness and social isolation are comparable to smoking and obesity, increasing our mortality, our death rate risk by 30%. And if you feel alone, a lot of times it's your perspective, that can increase 26%. And it's as lethal as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And it affects more than a third of American adults. And as you said, Virginia, during the pandemic, we definitely hit that front and center. And another piece from this website, they said loneliness has negative effects on mental health, worsening depression, anxiety, mood disorders, and cognitive decline, and our physical health, leading to higher rates of cardiovascular impairment, chronic pain, and fatigue. So we all agree that loneliness is a challenge, yeah? And my hypothesis here today is I can give you one idea. I've got a whole course on it, but I can give you one idea that may just change your perspective on it. It really did for me as I was writing the course. And it's amazing what a dictionary can do. Definitions and the actual meaning of things can show us truth. So here's a little bit of introduction from the Conquering Loneliness course. My going in assumption is that you guys and me, we're creative, we're highly intelligent, and we're driven beings. As a group, women, the lesson I learned in writing this course is that women are amazing. Did you know that like 0.5% of serial killers are women, and they were abused? Women are the glue. We hold the world together, and you have kind of the self-hate thing when you start, but as I wrote the course, and it's for sensitive guys too, right? But I really came out of it with a greater appreciation of myself and a greater appreciation for just how intelligent, creative, and driven we are. And know that that's who you are. And sometimes we just need a little help because we get overwhelmed, and it happens to all of us. And so please love who you are and listen to your voice. Don't let anyone devalue you. At that retreat, there was a speaker who spoke, Dr. Ken Howard, and he says, women do this deselfing thing, and don't let anyone devalue you. So my 3 pillars in my courses are how to access your inner strength, which is self-care, building support networks, and setting boundaries, which to me is honoring your voice. Those are just my pillars. That's an introduction. So here we go. We're getting into it. From lesson 1 of Conquering Loneliness, the title of the course or the lesson is called, Are You Alone or Lonely? And to me, this one point is really critical, because do you have a need to meet, or do you have an emotional thing to process? Because who's ever felt a little sick and then you feel depressed? Yeah? Anybody? Well, I had to go through that. And for me, it was a big deal to separate the two and to understand that just because I may not feel good, I don't have to emotionally be down. And what the point here is that if you're alone, which is separate, apart, or isolated from others, to the exclusion of all others or all else, solo without aid or help, it means you're just simply alone. You may have a need to meet, which is very different than an emotional issue, right? An emotional thing that you want to process. So, I had to bring, I I actually play on this veterans hockey team, and I had to bring a teammate out here to help me put an extra latch on the gate so the dog wouldn't get out. I had to find a guy to mow the grass because I didn't want to spend a night every week mowing the grass. And so differentiating between, are you alone and you simply have some challenges to address, gives you a sense of clarity. And then if you're on the lonely side, it's a depressing feeling of being alone, destitute of sympathetic or friendly companionship, intercourse, or support. And taking the pressure of, I have all these things to do, which is a source of overwhelmment, yes. And if I can push that over there and I can say, okay, I got it. I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to handle these things. And then how I feel about it, I can kind of put it in a different box. And I can understand that when my emotions come, they give me information about what's going on in life. And I may feel down. I may have a reaction to someone. I may need to understand whether someone's honoring my voice or whether I'm honoring my voice. And so emotions give us information about our world. And to me, it's very important to understand alone or lonely because it can take the pressure off. So for me, the first outcome today is clarity because we can know where to focus. In the course, I also talk about, there's another definition called coping. And what's amazing about coping is it says to combat on even terms. Who the heck ever wants to do that, right? No, we want to process our emotions, which is getting to a means to an end. And so that's why I read a lot of Alison Armstrong, and she talks about how if you go back to the dictionary, which mostly were written by men in the beginning, but we can go back to the root meaning of what the words mean. And it's really helpful for me. So that's kind of the nutshell of what we're going to talk about today is, are we alone or lonely? First, we're looking for clarity. Next, what we've got is self-awareness. So as we know whether to meet those, we increase our self-awareness. And I find the freedom of that gives us room to explore healthy solutions. And as we can focus on this intelligence from our world, and we say we need to get that handyman to fix the gate, and we hire someone and they don't do a good job. Well, then what we're able to do is to go, that was not a good solution. That didn't serve me. And so I can remember that. But as the fellow teammate came out and worked on my gate and helped me right before it really got cold last winter, he was able to help me put some insulation on a door. And I felt more secure. And it really opened the door for me. So to be aware that this was a good choice and this wasn't a good choice, I believe it hones our intuition. It hones our inner senses. And so we become more skilled at making those choices as we go on. And we have that self-trust. And we can go, okay, yeah, I know the answer. And I have more discernment in my world. It makes us more wiser and it makes us stronger. That's been my experience. The third thing is that once we deal with the emotion and we have that sense of having handled our needs, we can feel better. And what we find at that point is you feel better and you relax. You look in the mirror and you accept the you that you see. And then what I found, I had gone through this Battle Within program 18 months prior, and I've been doing meditation and I've done some other therapies, and I was able to take in the information and hear it better. I was more grounded and calm. And at some point, by knowing that your needs are met and having an understanding of your emotions and the information they're providing you, you're like, okay, that's a signal. It's not a, it's not a bad thing. It's you start to feel like, okay, I get it. I trust myself and I know whether I can trust that person or not. And you begin to feel okay. And this has been a real big one for me. You don't start saying, okay, what did I do to cause that? Women are real big on that. Yeah, I see that nod. Thank you. And so you feel less need to justify yourself. That's been a journey for me. And as you calm and you're grounded, you're okay. And as you don't have to justify yourself, you can hold those uncomfortable emotions and that processing that we talked about. You can process what they show you. Support networks are critical here, to have a friend to build. So that's, you go, duh. But yeah, that's a really critical thing about overcoming isolation and loneliness, is your support networks, and just being deliberate about that. And as you get to know yourself more deeply, as you're able to process those uncomfortable emotions, there's an interesting thing. Studies have shown that for these really, unless you have a lot of stuckness, if something comes up and you're affected by it and it's a strong emotion, if you'll sit with it, generally speaking, unless there's a lot of other things going on, it's not going to stay with you more than half an hour, and you'll process it and you'll be able to move forward and understand more about what it's able to tell you. I learned that from my painting teacher in Paris when I was doing that. And well, that's a guideline. It's just starting to say that as the volume goes down, you'll be able to be with yourself more, and you'll like that person you see in the mirror, which to me is a pretty honorable outcome. It's something I strive for. Can you guys resonate with that? Yeah, cool. Like I said, you guys run programs and everything, but these are just some of from the first course. Increase self-care. You know, the thing about self-care is it's every single day, right? And so as we take care of ourselves, like even yesterday, I took some time off work and I came home and I was still worn out from last week, and I got more sleep. And you know what? I woke up today and the world was a different place. Let's see. Hi, Terry. How you doing? Okay, welcome. And so increase self-care. So today, as my computer is verifying programs, there we go. We find that we have that extra margin in space. And so here's a tool that'll help you with your self-care. It came from AA, and it says when you're halted. And this helped me a lot when I moved out of my house and lived by myself. And it was hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And so you go, I'm not right. Am I halted? Yep. Okay. So what's going on? Am I hungry? Okay. Does that mean, a lot of times if you're hungry, that also means you need to hydrate, which is it's a smoke screen for feeling hunger, and that you've had enough to eat, and that there's enough to fuel the machine in a healthy way. And then you're angry. Well, that is a lot of times an umbrella emotion. And just to simply be able to ask yourself, what am I feeling? And is there something that's really ticking me off right now? Or is it just general frustration and irritation with the world? And then loneliness, we talked about support networks. In healthy ways, you can go, okay, I'm going to look forward to tomorrow night meeting with my friends for support. The other thing that's important to ask is, are you running away from that challenge? And are you also using your solitude time to take care of yourself, the self-care, like exercising, taking hydrotherapy, taking a really hot shower, meditation, and journaling? That can help with the sense of loneliness. And just the first thing is going, is that how I feel? And then tired. Do you have enough sleep? And that can come down to stress management as well. Yeah, I can also tell you that one thing that they shared with us at the Battle Within is there's a warrior meditation that is very simple, and it was super cool. You can go to your phone and you can set up a 7-minute timer. And for the first 7 minutes, just breathe in and breathe out, and then have some kind of like, I am enough, in and out. And then the second 7 minutes, they said in this warrior meditation, kind of tap on both sides of your body and say, I am enough, for 7 minutes. And then for the third 7 minutes, just be quiet. And they said it is really really powerful. And I'm just now starting to use that on a more regular basis in my life since I've come back. I did it this morning. So there's a freebie not on the slides for you guys. Okay, next. So that's most of the content that I had today. I just really wanted to talk with you guys and to share the 4 outcomes I was looking to share today is that number 1, giving you greater clarity that says, do you have a need? And then you can say, okay, now I know what I'm feeling in my emotions. Either one, I can have clarity. If I have a need, I can take action. I can be strategic and I can get some help, or I can go, nah, it's fine. I don't care if the dishes are in the sink. And then if I need to process an emotion, I can go, okay, I don't want to cope, which is combat on even terms. I want to process that, or a means to an end. And at the end, I want to feel, number 2, more grounded, and I want to have more self-awareness. It just opens up space in your mind. And then as you get to know yourself in a deeper way, the world quiets down. We feel less overwhelmed, and the room opens up so we can dissolve these critical voices in our head. And then just as a check to say, I'm a little out of control, apply your HALT, which is when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, for your self-care tools. And so this is just from the first lesson of my course. I'd like to offer, if you guys want to go to bookwithchriskrag.com, we can have a chat. I'd love that. And then you can, the whole course is there. The other 5 lessons are: lonely is a fuel to fulfillment. Your trauma will power the present. The art of loneliness. Stepping into freedom. And then have affirmations for the course. And you'll feel more empowered to handle the emotion of feeling lonely in deeper ways. The secret to finding more energy and feeling free to give to the people you love, the missions you support, and the passions that drive you. In the habit of looking outside yourself for people to rescue you. Find your people who will provide a loving and supportive space for you to step into self-awareness, fulfillment, your present power, and your courage. And feel courageous in formerly intimidating or anxiety-producing situations. So I'd like you guys, I'd like to invite y'all to take advantage of these. I'd love to have a chat with you. And with that, we left some time for Q&A. Here's a quote. When people say to me, thank you for your service, I think we've all sacrificed by doing what they told us to do. And then we have to come home to rebuild and truly find ourselves. So that, I think we all have a common passion for that. What questions do y'all have about loneliness that maybe we can help with?
I guess I'll go.
Yes, ma'am.
So I tried working on base. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and I tried working on base twice. I
Mhm.
tried working for NAF, and then I tried working for Brooks Army Medical Center. And there was a lot of hostility from military spouses. I did work for a ex-female Marine, and she had, I don't know, ADD or OCD, but really didn't trust anybody. And then I had a lot of people kind of, and I'm gonna, since we're all women here, in my uterus, I had a lot of people like, why don't you have children? And, you know, our joint spouse was denied. There were, you know, we were trying to get together. We did a long distance relationship, and then our joint spouse got denied. So there was a lot of delays. And then we got out right after 9/11. There were no jobs. So we activated the GI Bill. It was kind of one thing after another.
Right.
So I think too, people have a hard time relating to me because I don't have children. And then I think there's perceptions of female veterans that when I was at NAF, it's like a lot of unprofessional behavior. And when I finally got frustrated and upset at the boss, you know, like there's people blowing up all around me, military spouses, pretty much on a weekly basis. But when I got upset, they called security. So that's when I was like, oh, you just think we're all homicidal and suicidal, you know? Instead of dealing with, you know, you can't seem to keep people and there's a reason, you know? So there's issues like that that I just don't know how to, there's a perception out there, of military that's not healthy. I think they're genuinely scared of us. And then I try to do some church events. And in Texas, we have the whole pro-life avenue. So there's a lot of churches that are happy about that. And I understand everybody has their own faith and their own beliefs. But it's made it more difficult. I'm Protestant, so it's made it a little more difficult to attend some church functions.
Mhm.
So I guess those are some of the areas of opportunity that I don't really know how to overcome.
Sure. And a lot of it is really tough because how do you control anyone else, right?
Right.
You
That's
know,
true.
and so the thing I've come down to is I don't have kids either. And when I was in, I had short hair the whole time. And I'll be quite honest, this is the longest my hair's been in 30 years. And I grew it out so that there were no stereotypes about me because, you know, you go to the Air Force Academy and you're taught to lower your voice, you know, and I play ice hockey and I sold my motorcycle a couple of years ago. So, you know, you walk and you march and you have all these things. And so I needed something that was naturally feminizing for me. And that was just a strategy I chose. Yeah, I've had to build my life and find the things that I love and find a way to feel good within myself. Because really, that's all you can control at the end of the day. And then if you go, there's something else I read. They said, you know, when you know what you don't want, leaning into anything that makes you feel better is a good thing. And anything you want is because you believe you'll feel better in the having of it. And so positive thoughts, I'm convinced that they magnify and they bring better into our world. And so you still want to process your feelings and deal with that because otherwise I believe we're running from them, right? But we just focus on, even like they said, the warm pillow under my head or the how good that hot shower feels, and to just be fully there because that's what we can control. And I've been amazed how many times I walk into an environment where I project positive things and I expect, instead of having anxiety, which is very common for me, you know, and I look up and I go, okay, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna have favor, I'm gonna have protection, I'm gonna walk in and it's gonna go well. And it's made a difference. It's not perfect, and we have to let go of the outcome and do everything we can. But if we walk into that environment stronger and more confident, at least we're on our side,
Yeah.
you know, and hopefully there's somebody there. Like it's to the point where I have someone in my life that gets a little stressed out. And I was able to finally say, when they go, "Ah," and I go, does that make you feel better? Instead of going, was it me? You know, does that make you feel better? And to just have that strength of, you know, and at 15 minutes in the morning of being quiet and well, it's 21 minutes, that warrior meditation. You know, another one says, just listen to the air conditioner in the morning, you know, because nobody ever goes, I can do better. You know, it's just the air conditioner, right? But it's this non-specific sound, and it's just a way to let your mind relax. And if the thoughts come in, just let them fly by. And for that 15 minutes, you start out and you're calm, and it really makes a difference in your world. Joyce, thanks for sharing. I'm sorry, not Joyce. I read your name, Virginia. I looked
Mhm.
below. Yeah. Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing.
sure.
Yeah. Hope we can chat sometime. I'd love to talk more with you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, that's what I have today, Melissa.
Wait, who was in Albuquerque? Because you know they have that. I was at Holloman too. They have that hot air balloon festival.
Teresa was there.
Hi, it's Teresa.
Yes.
Yeah. In October, we have the balloon fiestas. Yeah, and you got to come prepared because I did that once from San Antonio when I was there. Came to Albuquerque and was still thinking of San Antonio weather and froze my tiny hiney. I'm dressed warm, like you're going to winter. But it's a beautiful sight. We still have balloons pretty much all year, just sporadic though in the early mornings.
Mm.
Beautiful.
My biggest, that was my dream. Well, I wanted New Mexico. I really did. I was very blessed. I got McClellan and then I put in for Germany and I got that. And I think Holloman was coming back. I really was rooting for Holloman and I got it. And I'm in San Antonio, but I really miss the mountains. There's nothing, the, what is it? America the Beautiful. When I see the moon over the mountains, I think America the Beautiful. Somebody had to have seen these mountains when they wrote that song because it's really just a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. So I am jealous.
Don't be jealous. Just come by and visit. Yeah,
We'll
the
have to.
morning skies are just on fire. If you get up early enough, like I do, it's just a beautiful red on fire looking morning. Very calming.
Wow. Wow. Okay, this is my first class, so you guys are going to have pictures next time, I think.
And
That's
thank
Do
you,
have
Chris.
Fiesta
That
coming.
was very good. I enjoyed the conversation and everything. And I would certainly agree, you know, trying to stay centered and really remember we can only control ourselves. We can't control a lot of what's around us, but you know, it's little self-talk and remembering we're probably someone else's crutch at some point. If someone's not our crutch, maybe we're someone else's crutch, trying to stay a little calm when things aren't so calm, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. I think too, some of my frustration in the workforce is just the lack of professionalism. That makes me feel lonely as well. And you know, trying to work with other, you know, being with other like-minded individuals, it just makes such a difference. I can tell it you just even on the Zooms, just a completely different mentality. There's not the how can I say it? There's just a more of a common goal. I think it makes such a difference in how we just want to take care of each other, really.
Yeah. You know, I found that when I was in, the mission was so pervasive, we took it for granted. We didn't even know that we had it. And even on the hockey team, whereas, you know, it's co-ed, right? There's about 8 women, but we don't want to hurt each other. There's that instant camaraderie. And I think that's a real big thing for us as female vets is to, you know, go in places where it works for you and find places where you fit and you don't have to, you know, create your story and hold space for yourself where you're safe, whatever that looks like, and practice that, because I think that's a really big deal.
I really like that because, you know, in remembering we're not going to be friends with everybody. Not everyone's our friend and things of that nature. And knowing we don't fit in everywhere. And we get to choose that though.
And the truth is, we've had experiences no one else has had. And that makes us different than people. For example, an easy example is someone who's just stayed in one place all their life. You know, and not that they're fine too. They're great people, but we just have had to adapt and to have, like one of my coaches used to say, if you move to a new place and you have to figure out how to take care of yourself there. And if you haven't had to do that, you think there's just one way in the world to do things. And you become a lot more adaptable. Things that matter are different to you. And the small stuff becomes a lot smaller. And yeah, the flip side of that, as you mentioned, Virginia, sometimes you get frustrated with people who don't get it. And the key is to just stay with yourself and to try to seek out environments that really work for you. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but that's our challenge in life, right? You know, I was in a toxic work environment a few years ago, and I got hired out of it, thank God. A lot of prayer, a lot of work, and it's not instantaneous, but I think small changes that we make every day can make the difference. And that's why I love coaching, because you know, the way we say it is you're creative, resourceful, and whole. And you have a place to come where we can talk, and we assume that you're that way. And I want to live in that space more and more. You know, and so all of you ladies, thank you for your service. Thank you for your courage to keep reaching out and to come to seminars like this, because you never know, you get that one little piece. And don't forget, the main thing today was, if you're alone and you have a need, you can go handle it, and you can feel better, and you can use that victory, that win, to go, okay, I can hear myself, and maybe feel a little better in my own skin by understanding my emotions, because they have something to share with me. So everybody, thanks for today. Hopefully it gave you just a little bit of better of a grasp of conquering loneliness. Contact me if you want to work together, or if there's anything I can do to help you. And Miss Melissa, this is an amazing forum. I thank you so much for your time. And it's an honor to be here.
And real quick, just going through the chat. So Terry, you're looking to connect with other women. What state are you in, Terry? Terry.
Is she still here?
I don't know. Jennifer, are you, and Jennifer asked the same. Jennifer, just curious where you are. Oh, they must have
Seattle.
Seattle, okay. And then Virginia, are you connected with the Women Veterans of San Antonio?
Yes, a little bit. Again, school has been kind of a long story. When we had the pandemic, my toxic work environment just got really bad, and I worked for a contractor at BAMC that had no idea how to manage people, and I ended up with COVID and pneumonia. So yeah, I worked with vocation rehab to kind of reload skills. I was kind of retreating but reloading at the same time, and I went back to school, but then I found a lot of frustration with school online. There wasn't a lot of support even with vocation rehab. And now I'm in a field I don't even know if I want to be in medical billing and coding. It's just been, you know, kind of a dilemma, I guess. So I have worked with a little bit. They offered San Antonio women veterans, they had a wellness thing last year, but then for like their Women Veterans Day event, it was down at San Antonio Community College, and it was so loud you couldn't even talk to anybody. And we had service dogs down there, and I do a lot for animal rights, I've done a lot of animal rescue, and I'm like, how can you put a dog in an environment like that with the huge bass going? So I did raise some flags to that, but I now know to me that just created another barrier. So I did connect with Camp Shield recently. I went on a retreat. She Thrives. I did go on that. Throughout going to school, I also lost my dog. He was a complete pain in the butt. Had more behavior issues than I did. And so, but they kind of helped me. They let me go on the retreat, and it's been really good. A lot of female veterans, they created a group me, and we've been able to connect with each other, but a lot of them are in Houston. So I don't know, that last event with last June with the women veteran group here in San Antonio, I kind of got burned, I guess. I didn't feel like I could relate there. But they're doing more peer-to-peer with Camp Shield. And so I've been trying to go to those.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was a long-winded version, right?
That's fine. Well, hey, I wanted to make sure we did the wheel real quick. Can everybody see the wheel? So you have to be here again to win. Ah, Chris, you will receive a gift card.
There you go. Yay! Congratulations.
Thank
Awesome.
you. I was here to give today. I appreciate
Hey,
that.
that's all right. Hey, and sometimes it's always good to receive as well. So thank you for giving today, and thank you everyone for joining us. And again, we'll get the link uploaded, and feel free to connect directly with Chris. And thank you all for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.